Straight ahead on OC News, a promising career and a $40 million NFL contract gone. Now Aaron Hernandez will spend the rest of his life in prison. Details ahead.
Are you finished? With your taxes, that is. It's April 15th, the deadline. Tips on how to finish without pulling your hair out. And?
Up next, my exclusive interview with Dr. Anthony Fellow as he discusses the effects of the California drought. Stay tuned.
Plus, weather and sports news. OC News starts right now.
Welcome to another edition of OC News. I'm Christina Hilliard.
And I'm Maurice Pennington. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students of Cal State Fullerton.
Tax day or stress day? Have you taken care of your taxes yet? Americans are expected to pay $1.4 trillion in taxes this year, up from $1.4 trillion last year. The IRS is expected to lose $21 billion in tax frauds next year. So if you haven't filed your taxes already, be sure to do so because the average American is expected to receive about $3,000 in return this year. On the plus side, some businesses are offering tax day freebies and deals you don't want to miss. Here's Tisha Bray with more information on where to get your taxes done and how to take advantage of those freebies.
Thanks, you guys. For those of you who do not know, today is tax day, which means it is the last day to turn in your taxes to Uncle Sam. And although no one likes writing a check to Uncle Sam, there's some perks to having tax day today. There's some freebies and good deals that you guys can all get. For example, at the Hard Rock Cafe, you can get a free legendary burger if you're brave enough to sing on stage. Also, at Sprinkles Cupcakes, you can get a buy one, get one free deal as long as you say the password tax-free. As you can see today, I'm standing here in front of the Tax Liberty on Chapman and State College Boulevard. And if you haven't done your taxes, this is the place you want to go to. As you can see, there is not really a long line here at all. So if you need to get your taxes done, this is where you want to be. Reporting for OC News, I'm Tisha Allen.
The 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's assassination. At the end of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln and First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln were attending the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater. Suddenly, shots rang throughout the theater, followed by the screams in the audience. John Wilkes Booth had killed the 16th President of the United States. Ford's Theater hosts a series of events from now until May to remember that time in history.
This Saturday, 7 Cal State Fullerton entrepreneurship students are working together for their first nonprofit event called Garage Gains. The garage sale will donate all proceeds to the Children's Hospital of Orange County. If you would like to donate items for the sale, you can arrange for pickup via email at gainsgarage@gmail.com, or you can drop off items early Saturday morning. The event will go from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Lot A, which is located on the corner of State College Boulevard and Yorba Linda Boulevard. More information is available on Facebook, Instagram, and WordPress.
We now check in with CNN on the state of the current California drought. It has been rated the worst possible level 4, and Governor Brown is taking action.
There are not a lot of lawns drying up there.
If anyone would know the state of East Bay lawns, it's Ron Malone. Yeah. He owns the landscaping company, The Lawnmower Man.
Not quite as green, perhaps, but they're not letting their lawns go.
That could change soon. After the governor called Californians to cut back by an average of 25%, now it's up to local water districts like East Bay Mud to get customers to cut use. The new rules being voted on today, limiting watering outside to twice a week, fining water wasters $100 a month, and billing customers a drought surcharge starting in the summer, ranging from $5 to $120. Walt Hebel doesn't love that.
They charge us more for using less.
East Bay Mud's goal is to cut use by 20%.
We have to cut back even more. I don't know where we would cut it.
Beth Leonardo thinks she's already done her part by ripping out her old lawn and replacing it with drought-free plants.
We don't even have irrigation run to the plants, and so they've just kind of taken off on their own.
Now she's relying on her neighbors to pitch in and hoping to see their green lawns start to wilt away.
And we have a special guest in the studio today. Dr. Anthony Fellow is joining Dylan Lujano to talk about California's serious drought. Dylan?
I'm here with Dr. Anthony Fellow, former chair of communications and radio television film here on the campus of Cal State Fullerton, and also a water expert. So obviously California is going through this tough time Tell us your background.
It's a very tough time. My background in water, I'm on my 26th year as a member of the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District, an elected position, and I was vice chair of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which is the second largest legislative body in California. So I feel I'm pretty knowledgeable of water, and I've been very active in promoting recycling of water in the San Gabriel Valley.
Okay.
As far as this drought is concerned, this is the worst drought in California's history. We're now in our key wells, which how we measure how much water we have, they're at the lowest in history, and we just fear it's going to continue to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And this week is very significant because the Metropolitan Water District has now cut back 15% of asking Californians to cut back 15%. And as you know, the governor has placed, for the first time in history, mandatory restrictions on consumers.
And how are they doing that in terms of, I know the campus was working on getting some water sufficient plans and irrigation, stuff like that. How can people kind of follow that if they want to, you know?
Well, everybody's going to have to conserve. We're going to have to have a new dynamic in the way we live, the way we landscape our homes. Lawns probably going to be out, particularly in new types of structures. And we've done a lot of work in conserving. We've spent a lot of money at Metropolitan Water District and locally in trying to teach particularly young people how to conserve water. And really it has paid off. In Los Angeles, for instance, we're using the same amount of water as we did in 1980. And so Californians, especially Los Angelinos, are conserving water. And some people think it's unfair that the governor has called for greater restrictions, but I happen to support the governor in this. Something has to be done. And so we can't really blame agriculture, and the governor knows this, and he's been very good in the sense that this is the American California economy. We're the breadbasket of the world, basically. And thank God we're not doing a lot of beef, which takes 106 per protein gallons.
That's
that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
But we have to start doing more recycling, which at the Upper San Gabriel Valley, in Orange County and San Gabriel Valley, tremendous amount of recycling going on. And we have to have more vision with desalting. The public want us to do these desalting factories, but it's very energy intensive.
So using the ocean water.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and it should have been done years ago, because you know cities like we don't really realize this in Los Angeles. Cities like San Diego have to import 90% of their water.
Okay.
In the San Gabriel Valley, for instance, we have one of the best water basins. It's like a swimming pool under the San Gabriel Valley. The problem is some of the wells have had to close because of organic chemicals that got in there from the war years. But right now, it's just there's nothing to store. We have had no rain. The snowpack is bad. And so what we're going to be looking at in the state of California now is a number of things. We're going to be building more reservoirs, like the Sites Reservoir up north. And we have to find new recycling projects. We have to conserve. We have to use drought-resistant plants in our gardens. And we just have to become better users of this precious gift.
On an ending note, what are three top things that students can do, easy things, that would contribute to kind of helping this, end this drought?
Well, I think they can teach parents, some of the older generation, how to conserve, which means 3-minute showers. And most of our water is spent around the home in landscaping. We have to cut that down. We're going to see more brown lawns. We're going to see more drought-resistant landscapes, more natural flowers that grow in California. So Californians are doing their share. It's just we've got to find new sources.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that Titans will take this information and use it, and hopefully we'll have some rain soon. But thanks for your expertise.
Pray for rain.
And yeah, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure, always. Thank you.
Thanks to Dr. Anthony Fellow for joining us in studio today and giving us some tips and tricks on how to fix this drought here in California. I hope Titans will go home and use this information to help neighbors, friends, and family, and let's get out of this. So thanks again. Back to you guys in the studio.
Up next on OC News, check out how a local Guatemalan man makes his living off of this very land.
Honey, the credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will. By doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
It's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
A group of Cal State Fullerton students recently went to Guatemala, and our own Lauren Gross had a chance to see how a family business is paying off.
Coffee for many in the U.S. is a morning ritual. But for the people of Guatemala, coffee isn't just a morning delight. For some, it's a business that can make or break a family. And 60-year-old Guadalupe Hernandez of Chocolá, Guatemala knows the harsh realities of the business.
Claro que esto es profesión, pero es una profesión que uno sufre mucho. Ver, ahí lleva uno lluvias, mojadas, sol, uno se hunde en los cafetales, en los terrenos, los carros, ahí está uno bajo el carro, enlodado. No, eso no es profesión, pero una profesión muy pesada, ¿va? No es como
Despite the difficulties, Hernandez wakes up with the sun each morning for 3 reasons. 18-year-old Lupe, 14-year-old Estefania, and 4-year-old Berenice. The idea that his children can become professionals motivates Hernandez to yield successful coffee crops out of seedlings like these, something that takes hard work, dedication, a few natural fertilizers, and of course, land. Behind me you see land owned by the Hernandez family, a rarity here in Chocolá. This is where Guadalupe Hernandez grows coffee, his #1 source of income throughout the year. And that's only half of the story. The second half of the story is up the embankment from the Hernandez's humble coffee plantation, through an empty field, and across a dirt road through the occasional pack of neighborhood dogs. The Hernandez home, where Guadalupe's wife, Sandra Hernandez, runs a business of her own selling bananas.
Ahorita no está quedando mucho porque no hay mucha fruta. O sea, tal vez no se gana más, porque, o a veces sí, se gana más, porque en el negocio a veces hay y a veces que no hay.
And because the at-home business doesn't always provide a steady income, the 36-year-old mother doesn't just sell bananas. Aside from taking care of the home and her 3 children, she also sells ginger, corn, cacao, whatever's in season. The supplemental business has allowed all 3 children to attend school, something not all Guatemalan children are able to do. But supporting a family off an agricultural business isn't always easy. The family especially suffered in 1998 during the time of Hurricane Mitch.
Nos quedamos durmiendo en la carretera junto con mi esposa. Esta mi niña era chiquita, como de 2 años, yo creo. No recuerdo bien qué época pasó, en qué año fue. Pero sí tuvimos una gran pérdida.
Knowing this, 18-year-old Lupe hopes to help his parents with a professional income.
Y ahí andan luchando por nosotros. Y yo ya no quiero que anden luchando, ya quiero luchar yo por ellos, porque ya lucharon por mí.
And so far, the family's struggles have paid off. Lupe recently graduated automotive school, Estefania plans to become a nurse, and Berenice?
Mami, ¿y yo? Usted quiere ser bombera. No,
She might just become a nurse too. All thanks to her parents' hard work driven by visions of better futures for their children. Reporting from Chocolá, Guatemala, I'm Lauren Gross.
Beautiful weather and sunny skies are ahead of us. Here's Tatiana Garcia with our weather forecast.
All right, thanks, Maurice. Here's our current weather forecast. Right now, it's about 83 degrees, which is super nice for about 5 p.m. right now. I love when I can go outside and just sit outside at this time of night and it's still warm. But unfortunately, it's going to get a little lower at 59 degrees later tonight. So if you are going to be out, grab a jacket maybe because you could get a little cold. The wind is at 9 miles per hour with the humidity at 8%. And the sunrise today, as you can see, was at 6:19, and the sunset is going down at 7:22. So if you want to get outside and get that last bit of sunset, you have 2 more hours. Now on to our 5-day forecast. So as for Wednesday, as you can see, today was 83 degrees and
The low is about 59. And as we move on into Thursday, it's going to be our highest temperature of the week at 86. And as you can see, for the rest of the week, it's going to be very, very sunny and nice. The low for Thursday is going to be 54 degrees, bringing Friday to 84 and the low of 55. Saturday and Sunday is going to be a beautiful weekend. I suggest getting outside and, enjoying that weather, because if you're going to sit inside, you're probably going to regret it, because it's going to be super nice, because Saturday is going to be 81 and then Sunday is going to be 78, and the lows for that are going to be in the high 50s. Let's go on to our national forecast. As you can see on the west coast over here, it's a little cold up north still, but as you move down the map, you can see that it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be still like 68 around San Francisco area, and I know if you're in the San Francisco area, because I'm from there, it's a lot warmer than I'm used to being, because if it's 68 and you're out there, you're probably outside. And as I was saying before, the weather right now in the Orange County area, LA area, is about 80 degrees, and it's going to remain that for the rest of the week. And as we move on to the East Coast, that's right here. It's going to be about warmer in around where New York is, around 71, which is a lot warmer than they've been experiencing these past few months, which is awesome for them. And as you work your way down to the map, down to the Florida area, it's going to be very warm, very nice. 84, 89 degrees, beautiful beach weather. And as we move our way down to the southwest, it's still warm down there, but not as humid as the Florida area is, because it is a little drier down there. And that about wraps it up for our weather forecast. Back to you, Christina.
Uninsured health care continues to decline as more people are getting covered.
Also, the debate over school vaccination is being discussed at the Senate Education meeting in Sacramento. Anthony Alicio has the latest on that.
A Gallup poll found that uninsured rates amongst U.S. adults have declined to 11.9% in the first quarter of 2015. This is the lowest percentage of Americans without coverage since the Gallup poll started back in 2008, just before the Affordable Care Act went into effect.
Vaccines save lives. Thank you for making sure that kids like me don't get sick at school. Please vote yes on SB 277 so that we can all say gone with the measles. My name is Rhett.
That was Rhett Crowlett speaking at the Senate Education meeting, where California state lawmakers are debating a bill that would ban vaccination exemptions based on religion or personal beliefs. Parents at the meetings lined up to state that if those were to become prerequisites, their children would pull their children from school. Back to you guys.
Feeling hungry but don't feel like getting up and getting ready and leaving the house? Well, our own reporter, Jasmine Kianford, shows you how you can now have the food come straight to you.
There's a lot of lazy people out there.
Lazy or not, eating like this is now as simple as hitting a button. The checkout button, that is. Yes, you heard right. Technology has now brought us a checkout button for food. E24 and Grubhub apps now allow you to order from your favorite restaurants for delivery. All it takes is to download either app from the App Store. Just enter your location to search for nearby restaurants. You can even search by a specific kind of food.
I think that would be really convenient and helpful.
To make it even more convenient, both apps allow you to search for food under different categories and often even include images of popular items to help you decide.
Easier because you don't have to really talk to anybody, you can just order what you need.
If you're in the mood to try something new, there is no more rummaging around for those takeout menus you've snatched. Most restaurants offer their full menu right under your fingertips. Just decide on a restaurant from the dozens of options, customize your order to your personal liking, add it to your cart, check out, and you're good to go. Well, don't go anywhere though, because guess what? The food is going to come to you.
Apps like Grubhub and E24 make it as simple as bringing the food right to your doorstep so that you never even have to leave your house. For OC News, this is Jasmine Camford.
Auctions, disruptions, and of course, lawsuits against Google. All this and more happening overseas. Christina Hilliard will fill you in with international news.
The iPad once belonging to Pope Francis has gone to the highest bidder. Yesterday, an auction benefiting a school in Uruguay was held that sold the Pope's former iPad for $30,500. The iPad not only belonged to the Pope himself, but is also engraved with the message, His Holiness Francisco Servicio Internet Vatican, March 2013. The sale also included a certificate signed by the Pope's personal secretary. NBC reported that Uruguayan priest Gonzalo Emilius, who donated the iPad to the Francisco de Pesando High School, said that Pope Francis told him, "May you do something good with it," when he handed it over. This isn't the first time something once belonging to the Pope has gone up for bid. Last year, an auction was held that sold a Harley-Davidson motorcycle donated by Pope Francis, which sold for $284,000. It looks like if it's been touched by the Pope, it sells for big bucks. In other world news, quite the disruption was made today during the European Central Bank press conference in Frankfurt. As Mario Draghi, president of European Central Bank, began with his opening comments, an activist in protest of the ECB's policies rushed the stage and jumped onto the table in front of Draghi. The protester was wearing a t-shirt that read, "End the ECB dictatorship." While chanting the same, the protester was reported to be 21-year-old Josephine Witt, who posed as a reporter to enter the event. Take a look.
Underpin the firm dictatorship and ECB dictatorship and ECB dictatorship and ECB dictatorship.
After showering Draghi with confetti and leaflets condemning the bank in its role in the financial crisis, Witt was escorted out by security, arrested, then released, and later took to Twitter explaining her actions. She also told Bloomberg tonight, that she was in protest because Draghi was never elected and she disagrees with the undemocratic bank. Her comment, and I quote, "What's very concerning to me is that Mario Draghi, as the ECB president, is not actually serving the societies, but imposing rules on them without ever being elected," the 21-year-old said. "The press conference is the little bit of democracy that the ECB gave us. I use this opportunity to express my criticism," end quote. And while we're reporting what's happening in Europe, it looks like 6 European countries have accused Google of illegally abusing its dominance of the internet search market, an accusation that could cost Google some hefty fines and cause it to change its business model. Margaret Vestager, the EU's competition commissioner, says that Google will be served with the charge alleging that it breached antitrust rules by diverting traffic from rivals to favor its own services.
Today, we have adopted a statement of objection to Google. It outlines our preliminary view that Google's favorable treatment of its comparison shopping service, you probably know it as Google Shopping, is an abuse of Google's dominant position in general search.
CNN reported that Google faces fines up to $6 billion. Regulators could also sue to block Google from operating in Europe, a move that would more than anything damage their reputation. CNN gave a good example to explain what Google is doing. That example was as if someone were to search for, say, a running watch. They would see photos and prices to 5 watches from companies that paid Google to advertise on the site. They wouldn't see ads from, say, Amazon or other rivals. Results listed first, and they're not necessarily seeing the best or most relevant products at the top of the results. Vestager said, and I quote, "Dominant companies can't abuse their dominant positions to create advantage in related markets." CNN also reported that this is not a surprising move for the European Commission because they've been probing Google's business practices for over 5 years and spanning 2 different commissioners. Vestager said the commission is acting in interest of consumers and innovators, and she noted that 1 in 4 companies that complained about Google to her commission were U.S. companies. Google has 10 weeks to respond to the complaint, and if it so chooses not to settle, they could be held up in court for years. Asiana Airlines overshot Hiroshima runway while coming in for a landing last night. CNN's Will Ripley has the latest in what happened.
A terrifying end to Asiana Airlines Flight 162. In the final seconds of an hour and 10-minute flight from South Korea to Japan, this Airbus A320 overshot the runway, turning a full 180 degrees. the plane with visible damage, carrying 8 crew members and 73 frightened passengers, including an infant. The Japanese Transportation Ministry tells CNN at least 23 people have minor injuries. The accident closed Hiroshima Airport Tuesday night. One passenger says it felt like the plane was speeding just before landing.
The plane came in very fast, and then as soon as it hit the runway, it just exploded. Like the wheels, it seemed like the wheel broke.
Investigators are looking into early reports the airliner may have hit an antenna on the runway. Airbus, the plane's manufacturer, is also investigating. Asiana is the same airline that suffered a disastrous landing in San Francisco in 2013. Flight 214's pilots botched the approach and landing of this Boeing 777, killing 3 people and injuring 187 others. The crash raised serious safety questions about pilot training and procedure in Asia's booming airline industry. This latest hard landing is the 6th serious incident involving Asian-based airlines in the past 13 months, including February's crash of TransAsia Flight 235. Pilots turned off the wrong engine, sending the plane careening over a Taiwan bridge. 43 people died. It's still too soon to know if pilot error played a role in Japan, the latest air scare in a region rattled by aviation disasters. Will Ripley, CNN, Tokyo.
That's all today in news around the world.
Want the Apple Watch but can't afford it? I'll tell you how to make it happen after the break.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during our operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
Many students use Adobe software and Microsoft Office programs. What some students don't know is you can get these softwares and more for free. Our own Kelsey Lujan discovered all kinds of software available for students. Check it out.
20 technology vendors and their representatives came to Pollock Library today for Cal State Fullerton's Tech Day, an annual event organized by CSUF Information Technology.
Tech Day is really an event for students, staff, and faculty. What we want to do is showcase what IT is doing for the campus, and also really to bring on new technology that we can bring to help our students learn more effectively, and also to be able to just introduce all the things that we have, from our vendors. They're bringing new things. We had a keynote speaker come on campus, so really just be able to serve the campus in a better way.
One of these campus services is a student IT help desk.
It's called Student Genius Corner. We're located on the first floor of the library. So we basically provide a bunch of free software for students. We help with wireless issues and any campus software related issues. We help with that. And we also check out the long-term and short-term laptops and the smart rooms that are in the library, the ones with all the TVs and all those. We were the ones who check it out for students.
In between Tech Day's various speakers, breakout sessions, and discussions, tech reps at each vendor booth answered questions about free student software and showcased their newest technologies.
It has a camera in the front, so we can program search and destroy.
If you didn't have the chance to stop by Tech Day today, make sure to visit fullerton.edu/IT for more information on how you can receive free software through Cal State Fullerton. For OC News, I'm Kelsey Lujan.
Time is money, and that is definitely apparent for Apple's newest watch release. Jasmine Kianford has more on how you can afford Apple Watch.
Hey there, techies. Well, as we all know, the Apple Watch is set to hit stores in just under 10 days. But unfortunately, so will its pretty hefty price tag. For those of you eager to try out the new Apple Watch, but not so eager to pay the $350 minimum price, you just may be in luck. Washington-based entrepreneur Zach Kidd has created what he calls the Apple Watch lease. According to Kidd, his company has bought over a dozen 42mm Apple Sport watches. Although he hasn't released specifics about the rental terms just yet, he has said that the rates will most likely be under $50 a month. Sound too good to be true? Well, you may be right. Don't get too excited quite yet. The rental terms will include a security deposit Kidd describes as, quote, significant. Now, for those of you emotionally attached to your computers, what if your computers could read those emotions? Pretty freaky, right? A company known as Effectiva has actually developed emotionally intelligent computers by using technology that can map facial expressions. The computer has the ability to track your main feature points such as your eyes, mouth, and eyebrows. The computer has been trained to detect all sorts of emotional expressions such as confusion, happiness, and frustration. Now, if the idea of emotionally aware computers doesn't freak you out, perhaps this just might. Thousands of people marched in Spain on Saturday to protest a new law they feel endangers civil liberties. Except no one was actually there. The protest did take place, but holograms of protesters were projected outside of a parliament building in Madrid. The citizen safety law forbids citizens in Spain from protesting outside government buildings. But you can't get in trouble if you weren't actually there. The law hasn't forbid holograms from protesting. Organizers call the hologram protest the first of its kind. And on a final note, now you can try out a beer that is out of this world, literally. Oregon brewery Ninkasi has created the first beer brewed from yeast that's been to space and back. But it wasn't as easy as it sounds. Ninkasi paid an astronomical price of $80,000 towards this space mission. Co-founder Jamie Floyd says it's more about a passion for space travel than about profits. Now this just goes to show that the sky is not always the limit. Well, techies, that's all things tech. I'm Jasmine Kempfried, and that's all I have for you today. Back to you guys.
With the NBA season coming to a close and the Stanley Cup playoffs on the horizon, there is not much to discuss when it comes to basketball or hockey until their postseasons get underway. But Major League Baseball is just getting started, and in Southern California, we have 3 teams we tend to follow. Catching us up on each of them this season, here is our own baseball analyst, Samantha Perez.
The Los Angeles Dodgers have dethroned the New York Yankees for highest spending team this year, ending the Yankees' 15-year reign as baseball's biggest spenders. And what do the Dodgers have to show for it? So far, the Dodgers have a record of 5-3 and are second in the National League West, just behind the Colorado Rockies. Their opening week series against the San Diego Padres was a good one for veteran first baseman Adrian Gonzalez, who had a 3-home-run game and hit a Major League record 5 home runs in the first 3 games of the season. Agon was naturally named National League Player of the Week. Yasiel Puig also showed life, getting his first home run of the season off Diamondbacks pitcher Josh Collminter. Puig has said he will be toning down his signature bat flips this season because, quote, I want to show American baseball that I'm not disrespecting the game, end quote. Reigning MVP and ace Clayton Kershaw will have his third start Friday night against the Rockies. After getting rocked his last start, Kershaw was left speechless, saying, quote, I got blasted today. I don't know what else to say, end quote. And not to be outdone, last night Howie Kendrick hit a walk-off single against the Seattle Mariners' Fernando Rodney. It's rare to see Rodney blow a save, but leave it to Howie Kendrick to do so. Angels fans will remember Kendrick fondly after the Angels front office traded him to the Dodgers for pitcher Andrew Heaney, and with the unfortunate off-season scandal with Josh Hamilton and a terrible opening home series against the still perfect Kansas City Royals, the Angels need something to look forward to. Enter Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. In today's 10-2 win against the Texas Rangers, Trout had 3 hits, scored twice, and drove in a run. Pujols had a pair of RBI singles, and David Freese's bat is finally waking up, as he had a 2-run single. Last week, Pujols took sole possession of the 18th slot on the career home runs list, passing Ted Williams, Willie McCovey, and Frank Thomas. And down in San Diego, the 5-4 Padres have gotten off to a good start. Last season, the Padres ranked last in the National League in first-inning runs, but so far this season, they are second with 9 runs, right behind the Atlanta Braves. The Padres made big moves during the offseason and spent big money on former Dodgers outfielder Matt Kemp, Melvin and Justin Upton, 2013 AL Rookie of the Year Will Myers, and former Kansas City Royal James Shields. Last night, the Padres beat the Diamondbacks 5-1 behind Cuban hurler Odrismar Despaigne, who allowed 1 run, 2 hits, 2 walks, and hit 1 batter. Matt Kemp tripled and Justin Upton delivered a solo homer in the 5th. Though the Padres are third in the division, Padres and Dodgers fans should keep a close eye on those standings, as I have a feeling these 2 juggernaut teams will be battling it out all season to see who takes the #1 slot. And finally, today is Jackie Robinson Day throughout Major League Baseball. On this date in 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier and became the first African American baseball player in the majors. All on-field personnel will sport number 42 to commemorate Robinson's lasting legacy. Needless to say, today is a very special day for baseball. Back to you guys.
Fullerton Union High School senior and son of Mexican immigrant parents, Fernando Rojas, has been accepted to all 8 Ivy League schools. Rojas was also accepted to Stanford, UC Irvine, and Cal State Fullerton, along with the other Ivy League schools. The high school senior has not yet made a final decision to where he is going to be attending, but he has narrowed his selection to Harvard and Yale. His major of choice is going to be international law.
Wedding bells are ringing for a superstar's mom while a jail cell slams on another. The entertainment world went through a lot of changes this week. Lauren?
There's some happy and sad news in the entertainment world this week. But first, some innovative news from the founding member of the Black Eyed Peas. will.i.am has a new side job, selling bedsheets made from old Coca-Cola bottles. He hasn't fallen hard on times in the music biz, it's more that he's into recycling. The Black Eyed Peas frontman has partnered with Coke and the W Hotels on a line of bedding made with at least 30% recycled plastic. The sheets will soon be on all W Hotel beds worldwide. They don't look or feel any different than the hotel's current sheets. The plastic is used to make polyester and simply replaces the virgin polyester currently used in the blended fabric. Each king-size sheet will contain about 31 plastic bottles. For W, the move was about being more eco-friendly as well as saving money. The new sheets are more durable and can be washed twice as many times before wearing out. The sheets will also be available for purchase at the W store. They aren't cheap. A set starts at $207. Now on to some saddening news for all you R&B and soul fans. Percy Sledge, best known for his 1966 hit When a Man Loves a Woman, died Tuesday at the age of 73. Mr. Sledge had been in hospice care for cancer, and according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Coroner, Dr. William Clark, died of natural causes. Here's a clip of the soulful artist recalling how his hit song came to be.
Well, when I first put the song together, it was called Why Did You Leave Me, Baby? It went like, why did you leave me, baby, when a man loves a woman? So I just changed the lyrics into When a Man Loves a Woman instead of Why Did You Leave Me? Because Quinn and I was at this party that night when me and Lewis and Wright made it up on stage. Those were the guys that played in a little band with me called the Esquire. And also Mr. Richard, he was the music director with our little trio, and he's also a music director at Sterling High School at that time. So really it was 4 of us that really put this song together. That's the reason why you see Lewis and Wright on the record. But me and Mr. Richard also had a big part to do that. So I just gave the writer's rights to Lewis and Wright because they were good friends and nice guys, you know. But if I known it was gonna be a big hit like that, I wouldn't have.
Nelly's attorney says drugs and weapons found on his tour bus could belong to any number of the people who were there that day. Nelly, whose real name is Cornell Haynes, was arrested on felony drug charges near Nashville Saturday morning after the bus was pulled over for faulty stickers. Upon further searching, police then found marijuana, crystal meth, drug paraphernalia, and 3 guns. Nelly's lawyer says he thinks his client will be vindicated. Nelly posted a $10,000 bond and is out of jail. He was charged with felony possession of drugs and paraphernalia. Nelly took to Instagram yesterday saying, quote, "Although I am unable to speak to the legal specifics and my attorney has put out a preliminary statement, I feel the need to take responsibility for my choices in needing to be more aware of the people I associate with and allow onto my property while committing to make better choices moving forward," end quote. We hope Nelly can stay true to his Instagram statement and wish him the best of luck in cleaning up his act. Well, Beyonce said it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Apparently, her message was heard. Because as of this weekend, Beyonce's mom is no longer a single lady. Tina Knowles married actor Richard Lawson Sunday in California. Bey posted a picture of the happy couple on her website. It showed them celebrating on board a luxury yacht in Newport Beach. 61-year-old Tina Knowles got divorced from Beyonce's father and former manager in 2011 after more than 30 years together. TMZ reports Beyonce was among the guests, along with her husband Jay-Z and 3-year-old daughter Blue Ivy. The singer's sister Solange was also there. Congratulations to Queen Bee's mom, and looks like she had a fantastic weekend. And we hope your upcoming weekend is just as fantastic, ring or no ring. That's all for today's entertainment news. Maurice, Christina, back to you guys.
That's all for today's OC News.
Make sure to tune in again on Monday and have a good night.